Okay, hi everyone. Today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share how I recap my day, my trades. Once I do finish my trading evening, what I do is I always go back and have a look at the trades I took and then see how I managed them, what I could have done better, what I did wrong, and I'm gonna learn from this. And this is something that I encourage everyone to do. And only take enough trades that you can do this kind of thorough post-mortem on it, because if you're taking too many trades, you can't analyze those trades, you're not going to learn as much as you could. Okay, so these are the three trades that I took today. Euro JPY and pound JPY are part of my plan, and Aussie US wasn't really part of my plan. It's just I had marked it up and I had been looking at it, and then I saw it and I thought I was gonna take it. You know, I was sort of fit. I had won the previous two, so then the last one I was going to use some of my profits and then see if I can get that third one. Obviously, it didn't work out. But and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my charts. I'm going to run through what I was looking at. Okay, so here is Euro JPY. Now this is the start of the day. You can see you can see down the bottom where it's 29 January 21:30. This is UK time. So the new candle opens at 2200. So this is obviously Friday, the last candle of Friday. So I've got this replay feature as part of the Trading View package that I have. You can get it on all the packages, but I have the Pro Plus, I believe it is, so you can actually do this replay on the lower time frames. I think the free one is more like the daily. I think that's as low as you can go, but anyway, so I'm just going to run through. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go through. So I trade the UK session. So when I get this painted area in the background, that's my trading window starting. You can see it starting at like 7 o'clock to about 10 o'clock. So I'm just going to skip forward and get to my window. So it's about a few more candles. Okay, one more. You see now when it starts to paint itself. It should paint now. Okay, here we go. So when I came to the charts, I get to the charts about 6 o'clock in the morning, every morning. First thing I'm looking at is what's happening. So I can see here that there wasn't a whole lot going on. So I did have a range, quite a tight range. Okay, so we've got about what is this? Goes from 127.03. So it's been moving 10 pips since the Asian Open. You've got the Asian Open over here. Okay, and then it's just been ranging ever since. So I'm just going to, so what I do is I just mark these off. Okay, so that's my upper range. And then here's the lower end of my range. I'm just going to mark this off because I'm not going to trade in it. I can't trade inside. This is just way too tight. It's only 10 pips. Definitely no trades taken in that. So it's part of my London Open strategy. I'm waiting for a breakout. So let's make this yellow. Okay, just copy that down here. Okay, so this is my range. I'm going to go to on the daily. On the daily, I am hitting some resistance. Okay, I've got some resistance formed. I'm not really looking at trading long. My bias is short, because what I've got here, between this here, I've got about, see, it's like 10 pips range to this this other level of resistance, and then up here is quite like another 25 pips, but it's a bit messy along the way. It's far cleaner range down the bottom. Okay, to trade in. So my bias is short. If I zoom out, okay, if I zoom right out, actually let me just bring this back. Let's bring that back to here. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the 4-hour chart. So I was looking at this level. This is a level of consolidation just here as well. So I'm just going to draw. Okay, I'm going to draw. So I've got a bit of consolidation over here. that I've got to be mindful of. This could be, if I was taking some shorts, this could be something that could disrupt my plans. Okay, so I'll just extend this. Okay, there we go. Okay. And then, so I've got a nice clean candle over here. So this is something that I was thinking that euro yen would be able to fill today. I'll just make this a bit smaller. Okay. So this is my plan. I'm going to go 30-minute. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. This is where we were sitting. Okay, so I had a breakout long, and then what I was looking at though, this candle doesn't have a top wick, so that always concerns me when there's no top wick. So I think that, like, especially there's some rejection wicks over here, there's some consolidation up here, and there's resistance up here. So I was a little bit hesitant about this. Other things I was hesitant about was like the first day of the month as well. So I really didn't want to, and Monday, I didn't want to start off on a losing streak. So I was going to just be a bit patient. Okay, so I was going to wait for either price to push up, make a high, come down, create a support at this level to then take it long. But I thought I'd just better wait. Okay, so I waited one candle. Then I had this. I recognize this. I see this all the time. Okay, this is a classic fake out. When you have a fake out, price tries to go up, stops, and then comes back down. It usually falls out the other side. When it falls out the other side, it doesn't just fall out and range. It'll often keep on going. So I was anticipating, with this volume coming from the UK session, like the volume coming up, tried to go up, got rejected, price pushed down, and then fell at the bottom of the range. This to me now is a confirmation for me that I will take, and I'll take this every time I see it. Okay, so my first target would be down here. So I did put in a order. Okay, I put in an order. I was going to wait for a retest, and then I looked at how big this is. It was only like 2 pips, so I didn't want to risk missing it. So I'm just going to bring this down. So stop loss I kept above this candle. Okay, I kept it above the resistance. Okay, let me just check. Yeah. Okay, so I kept it above the resistance. Here was my 1-to-1 area. This is where I'd be scaling out, taking some of my profits, and then leaving the rest to run. So I'll just go forward 30 minutes. Okay, so this candle here came all the way down to my take profit. Okay, so where was it? 1-to-1. You can see now it's 1-to-1 there. At this point, this is when I scaled out. I scaled out 70% of my trade. Okay, scaled 70% of my trade. 80% of my trade. And then I left it a little bit running. But I moved my stop to my entry point. Then I kept on letting it go, and my runner got stopped out. Let's just play it forward a couple more candles. We can see what happened. So the mistake I made here, and I've done this a few times. I need to stop doing it. I moved my stop to break even when I know I should leave it just above the candle and just be happy with that. Maybe taking a small loss, because more times than not, price will come back and it'll take my runner out. It respected the highs all the way down, but unfortunately I wasn't in it. So that's a lesson learned. Okay, I need to make sure that I keep my stop as part of my plan above this candle, not always moving it to break even just straight away as soon as I collect my profits. Anyway, so be it. Price then continued down, and it would have been a really nice trade. You can see here that we got a little bit of consolidation and the support forming. This was that area that I was concerned about on the 4-hour chart. So this is like support forming. and eventually held, and then price pulled back in the US session. Anyway, I wasn't in it. My trade was done and dusted here. Collected my profits, got stopped. My runner got stopped out, and that was it. So I moved on. Okay, so I'll go to my next trade. Let's just clear some of this. And we'll go to, my next one was on GJ. So let's bring that up. Okay, so let's clear this all. Okay, let's actually just keep this here because this is save mucking around. Okay, so when I came to the charts, obviously in the morning, I was looking for the same sort of thing as I did with pound, euro yen. So this was at consolidation during the Asian zone. Price pushed up just before my window, and it created a resistance. So I did originally have a resistance just along here. Okay. Now, when this candle here broke out, it just wasn't convincing enough for me to take it. And I just didn't want to, I was more looking for shorts because of the daily. We're at weekly resistance. So I was more keen for it to come down rather than taking it up. In hindsight, now it did close above resistance. It did close above resistance, quite a bullish candle rejecting off this support zone. So I probably could have taken it. I would have been a bit concerned. Price wicked all the way up and then came back down. I would have been in a fair bit of drawdown. My stop loss, I mean, my entry would have been something like this, keeping my stop underneath this candle. So it would have been a successful trade, but I just didn't like the way that this closed above my resistance. I didn't like that I had this little, like this kind of rejection wick up here too. So being Monday, being the first day of the month, I was just happy to let it go. Price came up, hit resistance or formed a resistance, a fresh resistance, and then price dropped. Okay, so it dropped back into this range. So what I had to do then, this is when I removed this resistance. Okay, and I redrew. There was resistance, price came down, tapped into support, came up, made a new resistance, making lower highs. Okay, lower high, lower high. And I was holding true to my sell bias. Okay, I was concerned, like there's a little bit of resistance here, but I got these clean candles. Okay, clean candles. The way I drew this was this level. Okay, so I've sort of got a wick here and a neckline here. So I was looking at this level. Let's try to do it straighter. But then I just lifted my support up just a little bit. So this is my target. I'm just going to drop to the 15-minute time because I took it on the 15-minute. So my confirmation was when price came down, made a lower high, came down, tested support, came up, still making lower highs. Price came down, and now waiting for this candle. This is the one that closed underneath support. Okay, I did have to be a little bit concerned about this. This support formed in the start of the UK session, but my bias was long, so I was willing to take a risk here. So what I did is I put in my entry on the close. Stop loss was above here, above this candle. And I was going for a bigger target. Actually, no, I had my stop loss up a bit higher. I did give it, how much is this? So this is 74. So I did give it a 10 pip stop. Okay, 10 pips. Now, when this candle, this first one, this one here, it didn't just go straight down. What it did is it came down about 4 or 5 pips to this level. So I was about 5 pips in profit to this level. And then or maybe it was even 4 pips or 3 pips. Then it came back up to my entry, and then it was sort of bouncing. It was moving quite fast. So what I did, when it came back, if it closes back up inside this range, there's a good chance that it was a fakie, just like here, and it would potentially move up. So there's always a probability that this trade could have could have gone against me. So what I did was I closed 50%. I closed 50% of the trade here. It was a 1% trade, so I closed 50%, so I had 0.5% still running because this I closed it right at the break even, so it didn't cost anything. And then after like a few minutes, like I went back up and did a little bit of drawdown. My plan was that if it closed above here, I would close another 50%. If it started breaking the highs above here, I would have just closed my trade entirely and just called it a day. It didn't, thankfully, and what it did is it dropped down. I banked the remaining. I closed the majority of it. I think I closed the whole thing actually. Closed like 90% at this level. And then price went down and it sort of had this little rejection. I ended up just closing the full thing. Okay, so then it was just ended up being 0.5% win because I closed 50% here, which is a little bit annoying. And then the euro yen was also a 0.5% win as well because I was starting small. Okay, so that was the trading idea for that. Oh gosh, this. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my final trade, Aussie US dollar. So let's just go to that one. Let's just have a look. Okay, so Aussie US, go to 30 minute. Okay, so same sort of deal with this one. Aussie US moves, and I was looking at it beforehand. I don't normally trade it. It is something on my plan. I can have a look at it, but it moved quite a bit during the Asian session, and it does. I mean, it makes sense. You got Aussie in it, right? Aussie in the pair, so it will move more in the Asian session. Like euro yen and pound yen was pretty dead during the Asian session, but Aussie moved. Anyway, what it did is it came up. I'll just mark it off like I drew it. So, okay, so let's just change this. Okay, so it came up, formed resistance, came down, and I was looking at euro yen at this stage, so I wasn't really focusing on this pair. But then once it came down, formed a support. I'll leave this resistance here. Okay, then I had another resistance just down here. Okay, and I'm gonna hide from here. So, and then my next destination was down here. Okay, so the stage is set. I measured here, okay, from here to here is 20 pips. Okay, it was a 20 pip range, so 20 pips. Down here, this next one lower was a 15, 14 pip range. I was preferring to sell because I'll show you. Because I had all this this blank space under here. So if we did get some continuation and drop down here, then there was a good chance that price could continue. Okay, so I'll go to look at my daily chart and I'll show you what I was looking on the daily. So let's just zoom in. So on the daily, we've got resistance up here, then here, and then here, and then here, and it's making lower highs. We had an opposing level, okay, here. There's a little level here as well with these rejection wicks, okay. So, but this one closed underneath. This one gave a weak bullish bar, making lower highs, and then on Friday it closed bearish. And it closed underneath this level as well. So I was only really wanting to take sells, particularly it reacted from the highs and then came down, and I wanted to get continuation down to around this level, down to this support over here. Okay, so I'll go back to the 30 minute. Okay, so I was waiting for it to break out, and I saw this is the one that finally broke out, broke lower, these candles here, and this is my first concern, this little rejection wick. So once we could deal with this, if we could break underneath this, then the next level would be down here. So I put on my trade. Okay, stop loss is up here, target was down here, going for 1-to-1 before I'll take action and close partials and then leave a runner on for continuation. So I got in here, next candle closed. Let me just go forward one candle. I didn't sell straight away, actually. No, I didn't So what had happened, I waited because what I wanted to do, I wanted the price to come up, create a top wick, and then come down and then start breaking the lows. And that would have been my entry. But it closed weak bullish. Then I went for an impulse entry. Impulse entry meaning that I'm not waiting for the candle to close. I'm just waiting for a candle to move up, then come down and then break the lows, and I'd be in. So go forward one more. Okay, this is what happened. You can sort of see how, you see what it did? See what it did? It went up, it came down, and then it closed bullish. So I'll show you again. We'll just go. See how it came all the way down and then up. So I was up. And I was actually considering, I was thinking, you know what, 3 trades, probably a bit too many. It reacted off this wick and I was up 4 pips. Then it came back up and it started closing up. I'm going to drop to the 15-minute because I managed it on the 15-minute. So this is the one that wicked all the way down and then came back up to my entry. Came all the way back to my entry. Then when it started breaking the highs at this level here, okay, when it broke the highs, it was, oops, what have I done? Turn that back. Okay, so we've got where my entry was, and then I think it got a little bit lower because of the spread. So it was about 3, no, that was where so plus spread. So where I closed it was about, it was 76.30. 76.30, you can see on the right hand side. So it was a 5 pip loss. It was a 5 pip loss, and I was risking 13. Okay, so what I did is I closed 50%. Closed 50% at this level. Then price started mucking around, came back down, and then as it started breaking its own high again, that's when I just closed the remaining part of the trade for a 0.2% loss. So total was a bit annoying that I had to close out 50% for pound yen when it came back to the entry before it dropped, because that watered down my profits. And then this one, third trade, probably shouldn't have taken it. What I could have done better, maybe I didn't need to close the entire thing when it was mucking around. I should have just, I'd already watered down my profits by closing half. But I did get it, I did walk to the kitchen, so there was a little bit that I missed. I should have closed down here, or when it started breaking, so I missed it by, I got a couple pips worse. Anyway, it ended up, if I did hold it and just left my stop loss up here with the remaining 50%, if I played it forward, I would have had chances to get out for break even, and in fact, it continued. So my bias did hold true. It's just that I had to deal with this drawdown, and my mindset just was I just didn't want to lose more. So I was up, I was in profit. I was up over just over 1% for the day, and then I lost a little bit here. So be it. Price came up. Would never have got to my actual entry. So it would have, I think I actually had my take profit just a little bit lower. So it got close, it flirted with it, and then price would have just went back all the way back up. Then it did a little dance, but I just wasn't really interested in being at this stage. So that's sort of how it played out. But that was my mindset, that I was trading this range and I was just waiting for this breakout. I could have improved my stop again, so I'll live and learn by that, hopefully, this time. I always say that, but we all make mistakes, but we need to learn from them. So a little bit of insight into what I was looking at today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But it's really from like this, just the way I do things. If you think you learn from it as well, then I do encourage you to go and look back at your trade, journal it, annotate it, keep it somewhere, and yeah, so I might just leave that there. So we can go on 25 minutes. So appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you again. Thank you.